Manchester United are signing Joshua Zirkzee this summer. Could we sign another striker? And could it be Ivan Toney? I'm going to run through the full story of Ivan Toney to Manchester United, how these links have developed across the course of the summer from The Athletic and The Telegraph to Christian Falcon Build at the weekend, which is where the conversation has come from. And then I'm going to run through an objective list of all the reasons why you would sign Ivan Toney and all the reasons why you wouldn't sign him and come to a conclusion at the end of the video. But you can let me know in the comments now. Would you want Manchester United to sign Ivan Toney? Because if I'm being totally honest, straight off the bat, if I'm looking at what Manchester United need this summer, there's still quite a lot that I would put ahead of signing another forward on top of Joshua Zirkzee. Although technically Ivan Toney is far more of an actual number 9 compared to what Zirkzee is. But anyway, let's rewind, okay? Because we know full well where you've got to start with this story. You can't ignore the elephant in the room, the 8-month ban elephant that Ivan Toney got for betting on football matches. Now, at that time, Toney made it extremely clear that he didn't want to stay at Brentford. And you know what the first thing I want to say about this is Brentford showed some real loyalty to Toney throughout the whole time, supported him. He obviously couldn't train with them. He couldn't do anything with them. But as soon as he came back into training, yeah, I basically want to leave. Yeah, I want to play for a top club. If I was a Brentford fan, that would have really pissed me off. First and foremost, I want to say that. But Ivan Toney, no one went in for him in January. He stayed at Brentford. And Manchester United have been linked with him, not just this summer, not just in January. We've been linked with him probably the last 3, maybe 4 windows. I remember having a conversation about him last summer. But it's The Athletic who really sort of kick-started the conversation around Toney and Manchester United. This was an article that they released last week saying that, look, as well as looking at signing Zirkzee, Manchester United, if the funds allow it, are actually going to try and look at signing a proper centre-forward. And Ivan Toney's name came up, and so did Dominic Calvert-Lewin's, and I hope that's the only time Dominic Calvert-Lewin's name does come up. And this is what was reported by Laurie Whitwell and Mark Critchley, I believe. Brentford had thought to want 60 mil for Toney, good luck, but some believe they might accept a figure closer to 40 mil, because of course Toney's going into the last year of his contract, which is a big part of probably why all these stories are coming around. And also, as well as The Athletic saying it, James Ducker and The Telegraph said the exact same thing, that Manchester United were keeping tabs on Ivan Toney. And then it's this weekend where the story sort of really exploded from Christian Falk saying, look, Toney wants to join Manchester United. Man United are interested in signing Ivan Toney, and Brentford have already been told by Ivan Toney that he wants to join United. And that's the full story as far as it's developed this season. But as I said, Ivan Toney is not a player whose name has randomly been linked to Manchester United. It's been linked with us plenty before. Now, my opinion's quite split on Ivan. Actually, I don't really think it is split when I come to the end of it. First thing I would say is probably the greatest thing that he's done. Of course, Scott scored that no-look penalty for England and then did this video after. I've got to say, 10 out of 10. Absolutely 10 out of 10. I loved that. I laughed plenty. But Ivan Toney, right? I've just taken 10 minutes before this video and I've written down and go, what are all the reasons why I could argue, or if there's justification for signing Ivan Toney? And this is what I came up with. I said, look, I genuinely think he is one of the best finishers in the Premier League. He really, really is. All-round technical game is very good. He's not just a target man who stays in the box. He gets involved in football. And he's been involved in that system under Thomas Frank at Brentford. Brentford have been at their best when they've been relentless, and their front press has been relentless, and Ivan Toney has been part of that. Of course, you've got the Premier League experience. He's definitely got self-confidence, right? Self-confidence to say this when he's at Brentford. Self-confidence to do that no-look penalty for England. He is confident, and you need that as a Manchester United player, right? He's only got 1 year left on his contract, power to negotiate a better deal, and if you want to use his age as a positive, you could say that he's ready-made. You bring him in and he's at his top level already. There's no development. He would just improve your options going forward. That's all the reasons I think you could argue why Ivan Toney would be a good signing. And on the flip side, I think there's definitely reasons you can argue why it would be a bad signing. I don't personally think that spending, if the Athletic were correct, right, down here, and Man United got it for a figure closer to 40 mil, we know how bad our finances are. maybe I could do another in-depth video looking into them in a bit more detail. But the top line is that our losses currently are accumulated at 270 million over the last 3 years. And you can only have 105 million max as long as 90 mil is provided by the owner, which I think Jim Ratcliffe has done. But we need 2 centre-backs this summer, a central midfielder, an attacker, which we've got in Xerxes, and maybe a left-back as well. And all of those ahead of signing a second attacker, another centre-forward. So what would Xerxes be then? We'd sign Xerxes as a number 9, number 10 hybrid and then sign a number 9 on top of that? I don't think that's the smartest use of money. And that second one's important as well. Can you keep Højlund, Xerxes and Toney happy? Ivan Toney would want to come in and start every single week for Manchester United. He'd have that confidence and that arrogance to do that. And he'd be pissed off if he didn't. So what, we're just going to bench Højlund after what he did last season? Where's Xerxes going to play then? Is he going to play on the left-hand side? Would he play centrally? I think in a one-striker system, you'd struggle to keep all 3 of those happy. And that third one as well, the age profile, I don't think matches what Manchester United have been doing this summer. Look at the targets. Xerxes, 22. Yoro, 18. Branthwaite, 21. Todibo, 24. Ugarte, 22. Ivan Toney, 28. He's the sort of signing that you can make it feels like to me, when you've got an established team and you need that experience, you need that ready-made player to go boom to change things. That's probably what I would say Ivan Toney is at the age that he is. And you can't ignore the betting man. Even if he never does it again, you have to take Ivan Toney on his word that this won't be a problem again. And it could be, because it's already happened. But I would say they're the reasons why I think you could argue for Ivan Toney be a good signing. And they're the reasons you could argue against. My personal take is I don't think Manchester United should be spending 40 to 50 million on Ivan Toney. Not after we've signed Xerxes, not after we need at least 2 centre-backs and at least 1 central midfielder. And if I'm being totally honest, I would love us to sign 2 central midfielders and 2 centre-backs. I would rather we doubled up in the central midfield signings this summer than in the striker signings. Now, you could say, well, Man United only scored like 58 goals in all competitions last year. Sure, I understand that. But if Sancho's going to be back in this squad, then you've got Rashford and Sancho on the left. You've got Ahmad and Garnacho on the right. And through the middle now, we've got Højlund and Xerxes. Do you then add a 28-year-old in ahead of 2 players in Xerxes and Højlund who you are backing to continue developing? I don't think you are. And I think in a summer where money's going to be tight, that's not the smartest use of money that I think United could do. My own opinion on it, hey, look, Ivan Toney is a very good striker. I'd argue he's probably a great striker. But is it exactly what Manchester United need in a summer where I think we just need to hit the bullseye with every single signing? I don't personally think it is. I'll be very interested to know how many of you agree with me, because not everybody will. But Ivan Toney, yes or no? Leave it in the comments.